Oops. Hello, everybody. Welcome to the Real Sports Scope. I'm your host, Robert Butler. On this second day of April, we got the Final Four this weekend. Another story about Jalen Hurts. Going to talk about that with the Mad New Yorker. Trade thoughts on the Tiger Woods. Looks like he's going back into another treatment center there. NFL talking about 18 games, replacement refs and everything. Plus, Trinidad Chambliss, folks, he has got granted the NCAA's appeal, got denied. Looks like he's going to be playing for Ole Miss. What does that say about the 2027 draft as well? So stand by. We'll take our first long break. We'll be back here momentarily and hit the ground running here on the Real Sports Scope. Hello, Sports Scope followers. The program has seen tremendous growth since going 5 days a week. I just wanted to thank everybody for your cash contributions and sharing the program with friends and families. Just a reminder, if you want to contribute to the program, go to the Cash App, the cash sign, and Sports Scope. There are other ways to contribute to the program listed at the bottom of the screen. If you want to advertise on the program, go to sports, that is sports with an S, another S, scope, SKOPE, at gmail.com, just like it's listed at the bottom of the screen. Thank you and enjoy the program. Alrighty then, I'm back here live with the Man New York. Hey, Carlos, how you doing? Well, it looks like he's in a still shot there. I don't know if Carlos is there or not. They got him paused there. He's having internet problems here. But anyways, we're going to get into Tiger Woods. Not sure if I'm in the stage where I'm going to feel sorry for the guy or not. Maybe I should take Carlos's. He's got a still frame there. And bring him back in and see what the deal is there. I guess he'll come back here momentarily. Anyways, all right. So we'll go ahead and play. I did not get a chance to play this the other day. This is a shot from last week. Of course, now we got the Final Four this weekend. I'll give you my predictions. We've got different teams now. Now we know how they're playing here in the tournament. So check this out. This is a shot from last Sunday.
Garabet, 2 seconds. Mullins tosses it up. Oh! It's good! We're point 3. UConn goes in front.
You there, Carlos? I can't hear you, man.
Yeah, can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you now, but you was like in a total steal shot there for a second there.
You know what happened? Thank you for having me, first of all. Happy Thursday.
Yeah. Happy Thursday. Happy Easter. I know it's early in the conversation, but just, in case people don't, in case we forget to say that to everybody this weekend.
Yeah, everybody have a blessed one. Happy Passover around here. Everybody gets a shout out. Listen, thanks for chiming in. I was just kind of in the shock because I was looking at some stats, and Rich Eisen and I have the same Final Four prediction and points on ESPN.
Dang. So was this more of a great comeback by UConn, or was this a collapse by Duke? I thought it was more of a collapse by Duke than a great comeback. I don't know if you heard me last Monday when I talked about this. Basically, I think that Duke is just too young. It was the same thing last year. You can't have too many freshmen in big moments like this. They're going to have to simply recruit through transfer portal or whatever, some veteran players. They don't have to be the air quote best players in the transfer portal, but at least have a junior or senior that's been in the tournament, got some experience there. What's your thoughts on that particular game?
Yeah, same thing. We talked about Duke and how they might, as much as they're doing well, they're still a little green compared to even like right now, the teams that they play with, like Connecticut. Look,
their leading scorer is a senior for Connecticut, by the way.
Right. Yeah. And I'll say this just to be, because, we like to tell how it is. if you have to wait for the last second to win a shot, you weren't playing a good game anyways. So both of these teams were at it. They missed a few shots, and Connecticut ended up getting, I think it was more luck on that end, that they were able to take that turn in those few seconds and make that and get that shot off. But both teams played very well, but both teams made some mistakes in the second and third quarter that kept this game close for both of them. Yeah. So, and that for one of them had one of them lacked what I felt was stamina, which is UConn. I felt like their legs looked like they was getting tired, and then for Duke, I just felt like there was a little bit green, and they just, made some mistakes in that early second half where they kept the game close. So
I mean,
it bounced out for a good game though. It bounced out for a great game. So
it was a great game. Yeah, it was a game of the tournament, but it was a 15-point halftime lead. It was 19 at one point.
Right.
There's just hardly any excuse for a team that talented. Also, John Schneider, I mean, I think he is so much – he's almost the spitting image of a basketball version of a Ryan Day situation in Ohio State for the football, where you got him following a legendary coach like an Urban Meyer, and him and Schneider, Shire, whatever his name is, following a guy like Coach K, bringing in good talent, keeping it up to par, but choking it away in the big game because he's somewhat of a young coach himself, and it's going to start coming down. Can he win the big one? I mentioned this on Monday as well. They were up 14 with 8 minutes to go against Duke or against Houston last year.
Mm-hmm.
Cooper Flagg, top guy, freshman as well, up 15 at halftime, and this game's 19. I mean, that is a lot of possessions, especially when you got a team that rebounds the ball like this. But this Caden Boozer guy, the twin brother, he could have just ran that clock out, man, or ran it down to nothing, took a foul. You're up one, or were they up? They were up two. Yeah, he hits two of them free throws. The game's over. Even if he hits one, then they got to take it out, and then they're throwing up a prayer then with just, I don't know, 3 seconds or something like that. It's really, really bogs down. As good a defensive team as Duke is, you start really getting into hope and a prayer for Connecticut. But it's an absolute worst situation that Boozer could have made. Go ahead.
There's a lot of things in the media too talking about all these discrepancies of a headbutt with the referee, there could have been a technical foul call, this and that. Look, at the end of the day, these two teams, the two coaches, let the teams play it out, and the guys on the court decided the game, right? They made the decisions that were either good decisions, and they made the decisions were the bad decisions on Duke's part. So it happened. It so happened that everything was left on the court, and not like that. So it was a great game. It's what we want anyway when we're watching these games on the dance.
Airtight games.
You saw this miracle shot and it went in. I mean, it is what it is. Let's go and let's get into let's get to these Final Four and let's see where we go from there.
These are very airtight games too. Now, as far as the point spread is concerned, what you're talking about with the getting in the face and touching the ref like that, supposedly he knows that ref.
Right.
They're friends and whatever. That being said, if he don't know that ref, I mean, obviously, if he does me like that, I tee him up if I know him or not. You don't do me like that. But that's just the way it is. I think this is his best coaching. I mean, they've lost 5 games this year. They're not that good. Although I will tell you, as far as picking the Final Four, I think they're going to beat Illinois, because they beat Illinois 5 games into the season in Madison Square Garden. They beat them by 13 points, So the guy's a great coach. He's like Saban, a football. He's almost like a Bob Knight. He gets every little inch out of these players, and you just don't get that from a lot of coaches. But he does. And he you could tell judging by that, yeah, he made the right call staying at Connecticut instead of taking that Laker job.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah. So, what do you think? I guess we can make those predictions now because we got a lot of football to get to. How do you see this playing out? I've already told you Connecticut's a 2.5 point underdog, although they're the higher seed. I know Illinois is playing good. They're a veteran team. They're playing really well. I think Connecticut has had a long enough layoff from the Duke emotional game to get their focus back on. If other words, if they played Illinois, say on like a Tuesday after that Sunday game, I think they would probably get beat because they'd be emotionally exhausted. But the fact they're playing this Saturday, I actually like UConn to get that upset. What did I put down here? What did I put down here, Chief? I like them to win 71-66 come Saturday. What do you think about that game?
Yeah, I didn't. I had UConn playing Houston. I believe in the final.
Yeah, but you could always change your prediction judging on how they play in the tournament.
Man, I'm good. I think that the UConn and Illinois game is going to be actually a better matchup than the Duke one because of the height on both the teams.
Yeah,
you're going to see that these guys at Illinois are very athletic, very quick.
You do like UConn to win this game?
I do see that. UConn might edge Illinois out in the sense where they have a little bit more. They're getting rest, which helps them, and they're a little bit more older. They play together a little bit more. These guys, so
yeah.
And the senior on the team, he helps. But he had his issues, but I just think the way they're coached. And the abilities that these guys have, and the fact that they play together a little bit longer than the Illinois team gives them a little bit of an advantage. But this is going to be a great game, man. It's going to be a really good game. I hope everybody catches it. It's a 6:00 game. It's a 6:40 or something like that. Something like that's a tip off. And then the second game is at 8:40. So, but this game is going to be really good. Both games are going to be great.
Yeah, I don't remember. I thought it was Jason McIntyre. He said this other game is like a metrics, one of the closest ever Final Fours as far as doing the the prediction markets as far as Vegas is concerned for the other game. You like UConn. I like UConn. Although, again, Illinois is favored. I don't know why, but I like UConn to get the win there. Now, Michigan, listen, they blew out Tennessee. I thought Iowa State should have beat Tennessee, but their best player was out. Good kudos to Tennessee for that. The Tennessee game wasn't close. I didn't think Tennessee probably should have been there, but they always find a way to win games. Some games they're not supposed to. But Arizona, I do like Arizona to beat Michigan. Arizona has some freshmen on their team, but their point guard is a senior for Arizona. And technically, I know Michigan's huge. They got one guy that's massive. Their center. But I did look this up. Arizona's a better rebounding team than Michigan. So I'm thinking 72-67 on the late game. I like Arizona to play UConn for the national championship. How do you see that game playing out, Michigan and Arizona?
I think they're both going to try to play off of each other. What they have as far as talent-wise. Arizona's quicker. Arizona has speed. On the outside, they're better shooters, but Michigan can match up with the speed, but they're inside. They're a little bit better scoring inside. The guys are bigger on the inside. And they got a little bit more strength than Arizona. So I'm hoping that Arizona can just play their game and try to get Michigan to match them up. But the moment that Michigan starts winning and Arizona has to play that style game, I don't think they'll have enough stamina to play these guys in the strength and the height that Michigan has. So I feel like it's going to be flip-flop. I feel that score is going to be Michigan because I picked Michigan to win the championship.
Oh, okay.
He's going to beat Arizona, and I don't think it's going to be like by much. I think it's going to be a 5-point game. I got it at 82-79.
Okay.
Like that in that range.
Yeah, a good one then. Yeah.
Yeah. So I don't think it'll go more than 5 points, but it's going to be a good. These games are exciting. These games are great to watch. If you guys like basketball, tune in. this is so much better right now than an NBA playoff series. So, you know, at least these kids are, these kids are trying to win something. Where in the NBA, it's like, even when it's in the playoffs, you got a team win 3 in a row, and then they'll rest some players, and then they'll lose that one, so then they won't clinch the series. They got to play again at home. You don't get none of that stuff. You don't get none of that, none of that psyche going on in NCAA championship tournament. You just get one and done, and let's get to go. So let's get it going.
Yeah.
I like it.
I was looking at something the other day. This tournament here, and even going back to last year's tournament, they're more than doubling the NBA ratings, playoff ratings. I mean, the NBA really needs a look in the mirror at some of the problems they've had. They had a player the other day, the Bulls cut a player because he criticized. Now, I know there's other reasons with them, Jaden Ivey or whatever his name is for the Bulls. He wasn't a star. I want to make that a big deal, the talking point. But I just think that there's just little things the NBA is just not doing. It's keeping their ratings down. But I will say this, the NBA does have hope because you got load management, you got some of the off-court stuff. It's too spread out. It's hard to find. That's not probably going to be that big an issue in the playoffs. But I do think that Wembanyama, the amazing surgeon of him and how he's going to play in a play could save the NBA, could reboost. I don't know about that. Save maybe a strong word. Give it some life. Like Bird and Magic gave it life in the 80s. Jordan gave it life in the 90s. A little bit of a low after Jordan. Shaq and Kobe gave it a little bit of life in the 2000s, and then it took another low, and then, the LeBron, and then you had the Heat, and then the Golden State, and then there's dips. There's big dips in the NBA, man. But I do think Wembanyama could save that. But right now, I mean, these college games, it just seems more interesting, don't it?
Yeah, interesting, and then
NIL's more into it.
NIL's changed the landscape, and then some of these older players that stayed in school,
like the Michigan player Lindenborg. It's like 24. He's great, man. 23. I really like him.
Yeah, so it's fun. It's a fun watch because again, it's one and done, and you don't have to. There's no lull about what's going to happen in game 2, what's going to happen in game 3, no, nothing. It's not going to happen. You're in the championship after that. It's like you go home, you finish your semester, you graduate, or you move on to summer school so you could graduate earlier, and whatever it is for these kids. There's no series agony of waiting and stuff like that. So
yeah. Another story, man, that come across me. I didn't get a chance to talk about it the other day, but this is a big deal. And I know that people talk about Trinidad Chambliss. I had Keith Engel on a few weeks ago, and he said that Jack Hirsch is a big Jets fan. He would love, when the season was going on, for the Jets somehow to get Trinidad Chambliss, the quarterback out of Ole Miss. Well, he sued the NCAA, took the NCAA to court to get eligible. He got granted eligibility. NCAA appeals. NCAA loses the appeal. So he's going to be playing this year. And he was ranked to be a 3rd-round pick potentially this year.
Right.
I think when he's coming back to Ole Miss, this guy's got a shot to get back in the playoff again and get his stats up and get his stock up, per se. But if you look at guys like him, there's still a lot. And people say, well, they said that about this class. It turned out to be a dud. I think that this class is going to be way better quarterbacks. When you look at guys like Trinidad Chambliss, Arch Manning, Dante Moore from Oregon, okay. They've also mentioned guys like Julian Sand. I'm not high on Sand like this ESPN is saying as far as ranking for next year, but Sam Levitt. Sam Levitt is the Arizona State transfer that goes to LSU under Lane Kiffin. Who's to say that they can't be in the national championship game next year? This guy on his best year, when he had a good coordinator in 24 touchdowns, 6 interceptions, who's to say he might not have 30 35 touchdowns under Lane Kiffin. We saw what Lane Kiffin did with Chambliss the time he was there. We saw what he did with Jackson Dart before that. Sam Levitt was a highly sought after transfer portal guy. He meets him in Knoxville's airport. So you look at guys like that I just mentioned with Chambliss here. What does that say for teams like your Jets, man? Do they have second thoughts about maybe taking a tie set? Dude, they've got 3 first-round picks next year. You know, I think that there's teams out there, and I'll talk about this Jalen Hurts story in a minute, but I think that next year's quarterback class could be huge, and it could control the way teams handle this year's quarterback class. Miami and your Jets, for example, could punt on this season. What do you think about Chambliss coming back and the idea he could be another quarterback? And there's always a guy like a Mendoza that comes out of nowhere, the stock goes up.
This opportunity doesn't come quite often for a lot of players, extending their collegiate playing years. So he needs to take advantage of it. If he's not running for a Heisman, if he's not even on the top 3 quarterback, he didn't really waste a year, but he's going to get his NIL money, which is good. But it's for other teams to be worried about and lining up for this guy, like just let it go, let it be.
I think it's like $5 million. It was really high in NIL money.
Yeah, I mean, listen. I would, if I was in that, if I had that situation and it was me, I'd stay in school too. But like again, even if it's not just a matter of staying in school, it's handling your business. If this kid, if Chambliss if he's not rated 1 or 2 at the end of the school year, it's a wash. Because as if I'm looking to see as a recruiter, not as a recruiter, but as a
scout or
you know, and I'm seeing this play out at the college level. He can't be a number 1 or number 2, and he coming back for his last year. He's older. Then he doesn't deserve the opportunity of being in the high stakes game, man. Like, listen, he's making this role for himself. He better take it to the max. That's all I'm saying. Like, that's the way I would see it. If he becomes a top 10 quarterback, and he will still be in the first, like the end of the first round, the second round, anyways. But if you're going all this way to go to court to make noise the way you're making noise, because you really want to finish school, you really want to play in college, you better go all out, man. You better be the Heisman Trophy winner or runner-up. Because if you're not, I'm sorry, man. All this is for none. You got your $5 million. You got finish your classes for your degree and be happy, but don't be upset if you picked in the 3rd or 4th round because you've always been a 3rd or 4th round quarterback because you didn't do nothing. Because these players, sometimes these kids often forget that when they have these second chances and opportunities in college, it is to make sure that they have a better situation for themselves to come out of college. Not just to be in an extra party at a fraternity.
He looked at being a 3rd round pick, but that was really his first year in a big time college program.
Yeah, but now he's gonna be in the same program with a different coach. So what I'm saying is this: it's like he fought to be there, and now now you're staying somewhere where it's not gonna get better for you. You have a different coach. You're gonna have different schemes. So I'm not sure what his whole outlook and opinion was to do this and make this fight about, except for maybe to try to keep the NIL money, whatever it is. It doesn't matter, you know, like whatever you choose, choose.
It's all about the NIL money.
You know, like, but you can't, to me as a scout, you can't come at this opportunity and then just, you know, crap the bed with it because you're not, you missed it. You had the opportunity to be a 1 or number 2 quarterback. That's all I'm saying. What
are your thoughts about next year really being the quarterback class? About those players I mentioned.
I think those guys, those kids they have this coming year to do well, to like I said, to not just be a Heisman winner or runner up or be on the Heisman, show.
Or in the
go out there and get yours. It's not just about stats. Go out there and try to get your team, make sure that your team gets into the playoff position. If you're in a bowl game, make sure your team wins a bowl game. Like, those are the things that the scouts look for. Carry the team on your back if you have to, because that's the number one reason why you pick these kids, right? You're saying, okay, I'm betting the future that this guy's going to, win me 4 or 5 games in the NFL by himself. That's why I feel like scouts kind of always miss the. You look at the quarterback. Can he win you 4 or 5 games by himself?
Yeah.
That's what I look for. Like, college is exciting. College is fun. It's fun to watch those games. If these guys can't get your school to a bowl game, what are we talking about here, man?
Yeah.
Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, because you want it to repeat, right? You want to take the kid from college who did well or super to become even a better quarterback in the NFL. And what happens is when you pick those top-rated quarterbacks, that's it. They peaked in college, so now
he is an undersized player. Levitt's a taller player. Arch, I still say Arch will probably be up there, 1 or 2.
Yeah, I mean, I wouldn't touch him with the Manning Arch.
I don't let you play towards the end of the season.
I love the Manning family. I love what they mean to football. But I, as a Jets fan and a New Yorker, and even for the Giants, I wouldn't touch Arch Manning with nothing, bro. I'm sorry. Go find a place for your own. Make your own name. Go to Arizona. Go play for the Cowboys. Go whatever. Just don't come to New York. Don't come to New York, because I despise the fact that New Yorkers, they're going to give it all. They pay all. They pay a lot for a game, man. They pay the highest per ticket in all sports. Like, I'm not trying to buy another jersey with the Manning on the back. You know what I'm saying? It's not that I don't like him. It's just like right now, from where he's at, if you're scouting him, I don't see him being like maybe a top 12 quarterback in the NFL. Maybe.
Yeah. Well, I did my mock draft up to 22. I got the Jets taking Ty Simpson at 16.
Oh.
Hey, listen, maybe they don't do it. I'm just saying, I'm telling you, that's what I think they'll do. They got those 3 picks.
Jets are so desperate.
Go ahead.
They're so desperate to find the next Allen, to find the next
Chad Pennington, who
I'm like, not even Chad Pennington, because Chad Pennington got lucky. Like, I mean,
he was good when he went
in. When the Jets picked guys like for the O-line and just built up and stacked up their team, they did so much better for themselves to bring in other players that had the capacity, to bring in a Curtis Martin, to be, because they had the Brickashaw, they had Mangold, so they had built up a lot.
Great center. I remember him. Yeah,
they built up a lot of these guys through the draft. They got a lot of players. They had a lot of skill level players, and then they brought in stars, and they. I'm not saying that's the way you should always build a team, but right now, stop searching for the next big gun, because it's not out there, man. You're going to be disappointed, especially after seeing 10 odd years of Tom Brady. Like, everybody wants that on their team, but you just saw it, and you knew how, you knew what this guy was capable of after the second, third year he was playing for you. But I guarantee you that's not happening right. That's not going to happen right now for the Patriots. They got May, but he's not going to be Tom Brady. There's no Tom Brady coming back no more. That's one in a lifetime generational player. So stop thinking you're going to hit on a Tom Brady. We have Joe Burrow.
I think the Chambliss thing helps a team like the Jets, who's got 5 first-round picks in the next 2 years, because what that does is, and the Jets, you may be right. Go ahead and play Geno Smith and get the 1 or 2 pick. You can probably have to take quarterback one of them. I'm just telling you what they need to do. If they just take the best available player and not Ty Simpson in that second pick, or don't move up or anything. Because look at this. They have 5 first-round picks in the next 2 years. Look at the other teams over here recently, folks. Recently, who've had this kind of opportunity. The Houston Texans, that look like a dumpster fire. Now they're a playoff team. the Detroit Lions, who've always looked like a dumpster fire, when they traded Matt Stafford, get to the NFC Championship game a few years ago. The Seattle Seahawks, who look like a dumpster fire after they got rid of Russell Wilson, look what they did with those picks. They actually went all the way and won the Super Bowl. So if you manage these picks right, you go from bad team to playoff contender, potential Super Bowl winner in Seattle. So this is big.
Right. So,
or a team like the Jets, if they play their cards right, within the next 2 to 3 years, we're talking potential playoff team, loaded team, from embarrassment to a loaded team that's in a real contender, depending on how they work out the quarterback situation.
Yeah, and let me
loaded roster. You don't have to have a star, like you say. You don't have to have a star when your roster's loaded. You know.
Yeah, and let me jump on what you're saying. All those teams you mentioned loaded up in the drafts with defensive.
They loaded in the draft, yeah.
With defense, mostly defensive picks. Some offensive linemen, some center guard, nose guards, nose tackles, a couple of those guys.
It's easier to build a defense than it is an offense.
Most of them built a defense. So, Brian
Baldinger, the side note, he's a draft analyst, NFL guy, NFL Network. I think he used to play lineman. Brian Baldinger, he shows these clips on college and pro clips on like the X app and stuff like that. I don't want to say he's actually with the NFL Network, but he talks about guys like Ruben Bain. People criticize the edge rusher from the Hurricanes. By the way, folks, I've got Kevin Carroll coming in for me and you. You're going to be able to do the whole show, the whole draft, by the way, with me on draft night.
I'm marking my calendar. I'm going to try it. So
cool. Okay, because I could go the whole draft, dude. I've got Coach Carroll coming in before the Titans pick at 5 minutes after. And I got Jason Patterson coming in 5 minutes before Kansas City picks, I think 9 this year, and 5 minutes after. And I'll get his prediction for their other pick too. But I'm not going to hold Jason. But I'm trying to get some other guys to come in and get them to, comment, myself and Matt New Yorker, ask them questions. So we got a big show planned up coming up. Is it 2 weeks from the night? 3 weeks from the night? Yeah, 3 weeks from the night, April 23rd. So keep all that in mind. You know what I'm saying? But Ruben Bain can play the run. He was talking about this guy. He threw off a left tackle from a massive left tackle from Texas A&M in the bowl game. So why do you worry about his short arms? That's overstated, man. That stuff is way overstated. That Baldinger tape right there should probably go viral today that he put out, that clip where he got that sack. He pushed this big giant 6'7" guy out of the way, moved around him, and he can play the run too. Like you said, that's why I want a team like Tennessee. If David Bailey's not there at 4, they need to take Bain. Okay? I love Jeremiah Love. I'd love to see him get love also, but I'd much rather have that defense. It's easier to build a defense. Linebackers are the least bust rate in the first round. I don't know if you knew that. That's a 20-year study, man. Wow. The least bust rate position in the first round is linebacker. So that's a defensive position, man. Easier to build. Less pressure on your offense and quarterback. It takes a while to build quarterbacks up. Got to have good coaching. Got to have the right offensive line. You don't want an overly needy wide receiver. So that's my point. You made a good point there. Also wanted to add this on here. Another report about Jalen Hurts come out. Pretty much the same thing we heard about 4 or 5 months ago. That he's not wanting to get under center. He's checking out of too many plays. It's not all A.J. Brown's fault. This is from ESPN now. Jeremy Fowler, this is not a local reporter here from Philadelphia. I think if you look at the fact that this team moved off Doug Peterson, they moved off Carson Wentz, they moved off of who was that other guy? Nick Foles that won the Super Bowl. They're not emotionally attached. They have an out, folks, in 27. Do you see if they don't make the playoffs this year with this new offensive coordinator? This would be 2 in 3 years. Do you see them moving off Jalen Hurts and them getting in one of these quarterback sweepstakes? my question for you. I think they will. I think they will. That's my point. I think they could get one of these quarterbacks. That could go ahead.
I like Jalen Hurts. I think he's a good quarterback. I think he's a top 10 quarterback. I don't know what the Eagles want to do. I don't know what they want. Like, again, I think their issue's been, and we talked about it, being able to be what is their scheme and being consistent. So and it's easier for them to move off of Hurts because if they don't want to pay him and they still have that Barkley contract that they have to pay out, and so it becomes a financial situation. And so they definitely probably would move off of him, and even they might even trade him in the next draft.
That's what I'm saying too. You know, he's still pretty young.
Yeah, you can put him in the sweepstakes and be the if they put him in the draft, man. I'm sorry, but I'm taking him. I'll make the trade and I'll take him.
Yeah,
because
you need a certain kind of coach to coach him up. I like the guy too. I do think he's about 5'11". He claims to be 6 foot. He's not Kyler Murray short, but I think he can't see over the line. It's again with these shorter quarterbacks. That's why he's opting out a lot of these plays. By the way, they said he don't want to get under center a lot. And I'm like, that kills me, man. I hate playing out of the shotgun. Giving the ball to running back out of the shotgun, he has no momentum to run. I've never liked that in college. I don't like it in a pro. I know they make it work anyways in some cases. But the fact that you can get another quarterback, by the way, Jalen Carter is due potentially $40 million. He's so good, pending off-field issues that we don't know about. I'm trying to make that work if I'm Philadelphia, right? He's a beast on the inside. Don't you try to get him for a few more years on a second contract?
If they can move him, they will feel better about it. They'll probably move him in the same thing. Try to find someone in the draft.
Well, I would want to keep Carter and move potentially Hurts.
But their problem is why pay somebody who has off-field issues?
Well, if he's got off-field. We know about his stuff in Georgia, but he's been on his best behavior as an Eagle. And possibly, folks, I may be able to get Jamie Pags on. He'll be at the draft. It'd be loud, but maybe we can get a few words in from Pags about Carter.
Yeah. No, I like Carter. I like Hurts. I think the whole thing for me for the Eagles is identity. Like, what are you doing on offense, and why are you not consistent with it? And the defense is the defense. The defense has carried the team for the last 4 years. So, and if you could keep Carter there, then great. But if you move him because you don't want to pay him and you think he's more of a liability, you're gonna get your money's worth.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah. We'll see. I mean, only they know what the real situation is.
Right.
But I know Howie Roseman. I trust him to make the right call. I wouldn't extend Barkley like that. And I still may even move A.J. Brown. I don't know. Brown's reading the book on the sideline. That doesn't sit right with me. But I just think all that does tie into a guy like Chambliss and next year's quarterback class. If you're 3-4 deep in there, that pushes down all that talent where teams that you wouldn't think will need a quarterback might make a move at quarterback. And, of course, like you said, there'll probably be, with the right coach in the right situation, a market for Jalen Hurts. But it has to be the right situation for him to work, per se. An offensive-minded head coach that's very another young Andy Reid type of coach, in my opinion, on that. Let's see. Other stories. NFL talking about going to an 18-game season. I'm okay with that. Maybe you want to add maybe 5-10 players to the roster, and these Thursday games, you want to give 2 buys. I would prefer, and I've said this all the whole time, either the Thursday game be at the beginning of the season or after a bye week so the defenses are more rested. You got more crisp, quality football product. And if you want to add the second bye, push the Super Bowl back to like a President's Day or something of that nature, even a week after, be okay with me. I don't care. More football later in the year is good for me, because then we don't have that much time to wait towards March Madness because February is kind of a drag. What's your thoughts on the 18 game schedule?
Yeah, man, you can make NFL football 20 games. Man, I don't care. It's a great product, but here's the problem. Well, it's an okay product, but here's the biggest problem for me as a fan. Make it more accessible, bro. Why are you blacking out these games, man? Like, I understand. And then also,
you use Red Zone now, and they've got.
I know, but even if you're gonna black out games or whatever you do, sometimes it's better to switch the games up that you're gonna be telling
that thing off YouTube as well.
Like, come on, man. Yeah, YouTube though, that's like $400, bro.
That's expensive, like the DirecTV.
Yeah, come on.
Yeah, I'm cool with it too, man. I mean, I know Jerry Jones is selling it for the wrong reasons, saying it's about marketability for the players themselves and blah blah blah. And I just wish that they would, up the rosters, like I said, double buys and of course, no Thursday. If you're about player safety, did the players really need to be playing on 3 days rest?
I mean, and the worst part is you can't do half of these training when they're training. They're not, they don't get into a rhythm until like week 5 or week 6.
They're meddling it in on training camp. They need to be hitting more in training camp, so their bodies are adjusted so they're less soft tissue injuries. Dan Campbell brought that up in the first training camp with the Lions. He said we hit as soon as we can hit because our bodies and calluses need to build up.
Yeah, and then like why making it more games? Just make more games where they're practicing in the front end of it, and they get some hitting in, and then when week 1 starts, we can actually see a good game for the.
They need to bring back 2-a-days. Be honest with you, it's better.
I'm not trying to get players hurt, it's not that, but just for them to be ready and play a good season now, man. It takes. We talk about this. How crappy some of these games are until like game 6, game 7, and then they're like start picking up.
They do. That's a good point. He also talked about a big subject is these replacement referees. When they put them in 2012, I know you remember this game, Seattle Green Bay in 2012, one of the worst calls in NFL history. I actually found the clip, man, on oh God.
Look, the whole referee thing.
TikTok. Watch this.
Rice is 6'4". Moore is 6'6". They're all to the right. Tate's the lone receiver to the left. The Packers playing at the goal line. As Wilson scrambles to keep it alive. The game's final play is a Wilson lob to the end zone, which is fought for by Tate with Jennings simultaneous. Who has it? Who they give it to? Touchdown! One guy goes up, touchdown. The other said no time. Has to be looked at because it's a score. Still have an official down there in the pile looking.
It's Russell Wilson. Biggest play is under review.
You can't go to replay to determine who caught the ball. So that call has to be made on the field. You see the one guy go up touchdown and the other go timeout like it's a pick.
How does M.D. Jennings not get credit for the interception? I have no idea.
Yeah. You can see the other one ref is saying interception. It's clearly an interception by the Green Bay. And then the other guy went touchdown. Like, dude, you can't be touching the ball being on my chest and it be called a touchdown. The very next week, the refs came back. Now, they're talking about bringing them in earlier this year, these replacement refs. That was embarrassing, and that was on like a Sunday night game, if you remember that.
No, to be honest with you, like I feel like the referee situation has been bad even before that, and it hasn't gotten better bringing back the regular refs anyways. So, I mean, what are we doing here? Like, just
they let stuff go, and they have makeup calls. I hate that crap.
Listen, and when they make it about their choices in the game, and it changes the whole game and changes momentums and everything. So, just get something out there that's good, and then have the video replay. Change the rules for that a little bit, so you can review some of these things that are said they are not reviewable, and then just fix it on the spot, man.
Yeah.
You have all these TV timeouts, man. You might as well use them. Like, you might as well use them to replay and make sure that the call went the way it's supposed to. Like, don't give me this baloney like it makes the game longer. It doesn't. It makes the game longer.
I just think that, you're
making.
making.
You know what makes the game longer? When they got one more Bud Light commercial that repeats 2 times in a row, and it's like, come on, let's.
I think the refs do a pretty good job, man. I just remember that year. That was embarrassing. That's this bad product.
Rob, go back for the last 4 seasons, and you're going to see there's bad, terrible calls, like in at least 5 to 7 games.
At least they know what a catch is now. Used to they used to change the rule on the catch. Calvin Johnson palming the ball.
We had
the catch.
For the last 2 seasons, you had teams arguing about this whole like tush push crud. Come on. I mean,
well, it's not a big argument because the Eagles aren't that successful with it right now. Kirk Cousins is now with the Raiders.
Raiders of Las Vegas.
You know something? I mean, you're bringing Kirk Cousins with Mendoza, who had a great pro day. I mean, he calling out the play, the exact route, so that scouts can see how good the receivers are running the route. Who was it? Bucky Brooks said this is very much like a Peyton Manning type of detail as a quarterback being this young. He's going to be working with Kirk Cousins. I think it's a match made in heaven with Clint Kubiak, who goes back to Cousins all the way back to the Minnesota days.
Vikings, yeah.
What do you think about that signing today? Because he knows the situation. This is not a Michael Penix situation. I think it's great. I think the Raiders are really on to something. Maybe Mark Davis may sell the team now because it looks like it's going upward. What do you think about that signing, man?
I think this is more like of a Tom Brady undertone than anything else. And the reality is this: who's going to be your backup there if you do have the first pick and he's going to be the quarterback? What they did, though, is they flipped it on the switch, because instead of saying who's going to be the backup, they'll be like, we have a starting quarterback and we have a guy that could be a starting quarterback. And one is 37 and one's coming to age, coming into the NFL from the draft. And now they'll be able to be a better balance, and it's not as competitive, right? So it's going to be, a buddy situation. And the situation is this: what you mentioned. You got the coaching staff that he's already used to from Minnesota. So even if he starts 3 games, 4 games, something happens, everybody in there is going to be okay. They know what the situation is. This isn't like, oh, let's compete to see who's going to start. You got a starting quarterback already. If he has to take a step back, or if he gets hurt and takes a step back, it's all right. It's a situation where the Raiders are not going to lose ticket sales at the end of the day.
Yeah, they're going to be good. And you know something? I think maybe even if Cousins plays the first 2 or 3 games, that takes the pressure off. That being said, I'm leaning on Mendoza playing early on, but it just takes the pressure off putting Mendoza in there right away. This is huge for the Raiders. They still got a lot of money left over, even after the debacle with Max Crosby.
And I know, look at the situation that happened in Atlanta. It helped them because he was there.
He did help Atlanta. A little too late, but he did help Atlanta.
Yeah, and when the quarterbacks was, it wasn't a situation. They made it more of a dramatic situation, in a sense where, they should have benched him after after one bad game. But then, he helped those quarterbacks out there, and there was it's Kirk Cousins, man. If you need somebody to save your franchise, you could throw him in, or you could, start him for a few games, and it's going to be okay. But you don't have this whole, all we have is this number 1 pick, and you're forcing them to be a starter.
Being the man.
Yeah. And so it's a good situation for the Raiders.
Mr. Cousins.
Yeah, and if Tom Brady wasn't there, I don't think this would have been something that they would have done, to be honest with you.
Right. Okay, switching gears here. Tiger Woods has had 3 crashes, another DUI since 2009. Counting his incident going back to 2009. Remember when his wife was chasing with the golf club? He had
messed with his car. Yeah.
He makes the comment. He had this rollover crash last week, of course. Got arrested for the DUI. He says now that he didn't want. It's been reported that he didn't want a driver because he didn't want his privacy out there. In other words, he didn't want anybody to know what he's doing. Think to yourself back when we watched this guy in 1997, 21 years old, winning the Masters. He would, to me, folks, would come out as the last guy that would be reckless like that. Because he got to be so locked in to hit a golf ball. Have you ever try hitting a golf ball, dude, at like these putting or these driving courses where I'm knocking up part of the ground? It takes a tremendous amount of concentration. Only thing I can think of, he's just overconfident in himself to beat these painkillers and to drive and get behind a vehicle and drive a vehicle. He's overconfident. It's more than a petty. It's more like, hey, man, you need to look in the mirror and step up and say, I'm not above this. Hopefully he's going to treatment to actually go to treatment and not to get favorability from the judge there in Florida. What's your thoughts about another incident with Tiger Woods flipping a car over again, man?
Yeah, look, this situation is wild. I pray for the man because this is a situation where the wealth that he has gotten to affected the decision that he's making for his own livelihood. And in the sense where the man has been over 20 operations, he's got more than 10 medications that he takes. So, it's not that he can't afford a driver, and what you talk about privacy, yeah, maybe that's all good. But at the end of the day, it should be that he should have his license taken away the first time.
Yeah.
And then that would have probably, in this situation, probably would have never happened.
He probably talks his way out of this stuff, and he gets good lawyers, of course.
Right. I mean, so my thing is this: is like, he's making terrible decisions because he's also under the influence of drugs that don't help him make the right decisions.
Hydrocodone, yeah.
So they should just take his license away so he can just be like anybody else who has an accident in America. Like, he has to have a consequence, man. Like,
I think they said he might go to jail this time because it was 2017, I think, was the other incident. So that wasn't that long ago, and this is the same thing in Jupiter, Florida, too.
Yeah, it's 10 years, the difference, but still, and I get it. He's getting help now, and they said that now he's going to seek help outside the country, so that way there's no, like you said, there's no bias and stuff like that. But look, don't matter where you get the help from. What matters is that you take care of your situation, so you're not just a liability to yourself, but to other people, man. Like, he's lucky that he lives in such a closed section in Jupiter, right? Yeah. There's a like 4 or 5 little areas there that's all by themselves and enclosed community, gated communities and everything. So he's lucky that he's in that area already where there's not that much traffic. But imagine if he was in the middle of Miami or somewhere else in Florida, in Tampa Bay or something.
He could have hurt somebody else. Yeah.
Yeah. So he's somebody. He's a man that needs to take care of himself. Needs to take care of responsibilities, and he needs to have a consequence, and he definitely shouldn't have a license to drive. And he's proved it, right? And within the 10 years, 2 accidents in 10 years. Come on.
Yeah,
guys.
well, TMZ said there was criticisms in California where he got that bad wreck that they didn't test him out then. He didn't do a field sobriety then.
Well, there was I'm not sure if you were able to catch the news today. Everywhere they showed his sobriety tests.
Yes, it was on there. I should
have gotten that. They had him in cuffs. They cuffed him. He's like, "You guys are arresting me?"
Now that's entitlement coming out.
When he asked that question, I'm like, you shouldn't even ask that question, bro. Your car is flipped in the middle of the street.
Yeah.
Like when the guy came and said, I called 911. There's an accident. I was the first one here. I'm telling you what's happened. They're like, and the guy goes, well, who's in the car? Oh, he got out already. Like, who is it? It's Tiger Woods. And the cop goes, oh shit. It's like, excuse my French. I don't cuss, but
I got you. Yeah.
And I was like, yo, everything about that situation just went
Because if that's me and you, we know we're going to get the book thrown at us. You know,
my man, they would stop me before I even got in the car wreck. They'd be like, "Excuse me, sir." I'm like, "What? Why are you stopping me?" Yeah, we saw that you don't have you didn't do a turn signal or something. They're not going to say it's because of the color of my skin, but like so again, he has all the opportunity in the world to take care of himself. He has all the opportunity to have a driver, whether he likes it or not. He should have one because he shouldn't have a license. Period.
That's he's probably going to lose it for a minute, if not. I want to say one guy, if I'm not mistaken, that the receiver used to play for Tennessee. Is it Stallworth? Dante Stallworth?
Yeah.
They stripped his license when he ran that guy over and killed him. Former player for the Patriots, Dante Stallworth.
Yeah, University of Tennessee football player,
yeah. Yeah, lost his license in Florida for running a guy over. Now, that was, I thought, he killed a person. That's a wholly high different level of situation. Also, people got to think about the fact that he's got a lot to live for. His son's playing. His son is very good. I'm sure he wants his son to see him turn out to be him as a golfer, not as the stuff he's doing with off the course.
Yeah,
he come off as a guy that the last guy you would think that would be in situations like this. It just doesn't seem like the kind of guy that, with his kind of focus on the course, would have this many bad decision makings off the course.
Yeah, but listen, if you watch the video of the sobriety test, they didn't even show that he was even like he wasn't inebriated in alcohol, like with alcohol. So it's not alcohol, it's the pills that he's taking and how
he's taking
and how they're messing him up. So if he's being messed up as a driver, imagine the decisions he's making while he's impaired that have to do with stuff that has nothing to do with driving. So he's already making bad decisions. So if a judge can't go out there and be like, look, the decision is you can't have a license, then the judge should be kicked out of his chair, man. Because this guy is allowing another man who's being like under the influence of drugs that he takes for his own body to put himself in danger, not just himself, but other people. Because of his family
prescription, that can be worse in certain amounts of alcohol. Now, you get real drunk, you know what I'm saying. I
respect Tiger Woods.
Worse,
what he's done. I respect the fact that he's a great athlete, but you're not making good decisions because of the drugs that you're taking. Yeah, and it's causing you to put yourself in danger. You got to take care of yourself, and then also you have to make sure that you don't put other people in danger, man. Like that has.
He's coming off as a pretty selfish guy here. I have to admit
it's not.
I heard he's kind of a jerk anyways.
Again, listen, if he's taking medication and he's not aware about the decisions he's making, it might make him look selfish. It might make him look like he don't care. But
he may have it sounds like he's got a problem. He's probably taking more. I think I want to say Brett Favre said he had a painkiller problem at one point. But he's got to realize that he's got a problem to get over the problem.
I'm glad he's
getting over the problem. Realize you got the problem. If this don't wake him up, I don't think anything is.
Like I feel like him getting help is good, but any judge who gets this case on the table should be like, this guy will not be able to drive.
Yeah. He might not be able to drive in the state of Florida anymore.
Yeah, because if his body, he needs all this medication for his body to be in good condition, then he can't drive.
Yeah. Yeah. And maybe he's abusing that. So that's my point. Maybe he don't need it that much. He just think he does.
But he ain't thinking if he's under all these drugs. So that's my point.
No, I hear you. I hear. No, I hear you, man. I hear you. Anything else to plug? We got about 2 minutes.
Yeah, man. I'm working on this project with the for baseball. Just started. I went last Sunday. It was cold as heck. I thought I was going to see a sweep of the Pirates. I saw more fans being upset. It was, it's part of baseball, though. We're going to see what's going to happen to the rest of the season.
Yeah.
With the Mets, the Yankees are doing all right. So
they had a good series against Seattle. Yeah.
So we're going to see. I'm going to take care of this project, and I'm going to post it. I'm going to have you post it when I finish, and I should have it out before the weekend ends. So.
All right, Mad New Yorker, everybody.
Thanks for having me on. Thanks, everyone.
Yeah.
Happy Easter.
Man. You got it, buddy. Enjoy the weekend. Thanks, man. All right, everybody. I'll be back here. I'll be back here probably Sunday night or Monday and talk about whatever happened in this weekend in the Final Four. So have a good weekend, everybody. I'll see you then here on the Real Sports Scope. By the way, if you like the show, please share the show. And if you haven't subscribed, please subscribe to that YouTube channel, folks. Thank you. Good night.